You are now entering the rabbit hole.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole, episode 6.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And we didn't think we were going to have an episode going now, so we got a great one for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like always.
Always.
Not necessarily as structured as most, but
Oh,
this
no.
should be fun and unique, and we're just going to have a cool conversation. So thanks for joining us. How
Thank
you doing,
you.
Jeremy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy to be here.
Me too, man. So Christmas is just around the corner.
2 days away.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Yes, by the time you guys see this, it'll definitely probably be maybe 2024. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, so what's on the agenda for today? I had a little bit of an idea. I wanted to get your opinion or get your ideas on what are some new, fun, maybe obscure, unique YouTube videos and channels that you're into nowadays.
Obscure, unique YouTube channels?
Let me start this, because one thing I'll say is, like, you have TikTok and you have YouTube. YouTube
Sure.
came up with YouTube Shorts to be a challenger, essentially, to TikTok. And I think if you pay any attention, maybe you have an adult brain and an attention span that's longer than 30 seconds. I think the YouTube Shorts has actually gone way above TikTok. And
Yeah, I don't even fox with TikTok. I'm all about YouTube Shorts, if anything. But, again, I don't like getting caught in time loops.
yeah, it's real easy to get like sucked into it, and I almost think videos that go that quick in succession kind of mess with your brain too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've found a couple cool short video channels though. I sent you the other day the divorced dads.
That was funny.
The
That
guy
was
like
very
plays a card
funny.
game, and it's like Pokemon, except it's divorced dad stuff. What were some of the What were some of the cards?
I remember the White Oakleys was my
The White
favorite,
Oakley.
hands down my
Yeah.
favorite, because I've seen those White Oakleys on many divorced
It-
dads.
It was funny because it was so real.
Yeah,
At the end, he's always hoping to pull the house. If I
Yeah.
get the house, I'm gonna retire.
yeah. He never gets the house.
He's not gonna
Never
get
gets
the
the house.
house. No.
The Tower of Sadness, the pyramid of beer cans. That's great.
Yeah, which is a real thing.
What was the one where mommy, or not new mommy, but like daddy's new friend who's not mommy or something like that? It was funny. It was really great. Yeah.
I've been seeing this other channel that is. It's called DK Oldies, and what they do is they're basically a secondhand shop, and they sell old video game consoles and video games.
Oh, I love video games.
So yeah, they're cleaning up like old Nintendo 64s and NESs.
Okay.
Game
Yeah.
Gears. Like they have the most obscure old like accessories to the old video game consoles and handhelds, like GameCube. There's like 3 or 4 different accessories that you could plug into the bottom of it. I don't know if you ever had one. I didn't, but
My wife's sister had a GameCube, and I saw the bottom of it one time, and I'm like, what is all this
yeah,
for?
there's all these ports apparently.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like all these contraptions that you can hook up to it. And anyways, they fill orders, and they're just nice people. So it's one of those kind of like I don't know, guilty pleasure things that I watch. But speaking of something like that, Jeremy, like what kind of obscure things do you like?
My guilty pleasures on YouTube, normally around nostalgia stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, one thing I like, this is actually something I like to do with my kids, is some wonderful person out there will upload an entire Saturday morning's worth of cartoons, and not just the cartoons, the bumpers and the commercials. And
Yeah.
I don't know why I get such a kick out of seeing this old shit again. Maybe it's because I never grew up. Maybe. I don't know. But it warms my heart that I can share this with my kids, and they like it too. I'm not trying to, pull back the 80s or anything, or even the 90s, but I love that they appreciate what I loved as a kid. I know I've said that before, but it's just a huge thing. And once again, going back to that, I also like watching just commercial specials. I don't know. It's all about nostalgia for me. That's what I love about YouTube. YouTube is the ultimate time machine, or as close as we'll ever get to having a time machine. And yeah, I guess a little bit pathetic if you really analyze it. And maybe I have some issues, but yeah, my guilty pleasures on YouTube pretty much go as far as that. Other than that, it's just watching like like Angry Video Game Nerd and stuff, and like you said, watching restorations of old consoles, and yeah, that's pretty much it. My YouTube experience is pretty limited. Mostly music, actually.
I'm gonna agree with you on the nostalgia factor of YouTube, though. Some of these guys will make like videos about an entire subject matter from the 80s or 90s, and you kind of get to absorb the whole thing in one setting instead of like going back and watching like 60 episodes of something.
Yeah, the condensed breakdown of an entire season's worth, and somebody just breaks. I like those too. Those are great. They do those with like comic book series they do that with, which are great. I love doing that, especially I don't have time to read 1,000 comic books. I'm a 40-year-old man with a full-time job and 2 kids. Audiobooks is where it's at, baby.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
YouTube audiobooks is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. And, getting back to YouTube. Okay, so I can expand on this a little bit. When you first asked me, I was really trying to figure out what I could talk about. I like creepypastas, too.
Oh, absolutely.
I like diving into those really crazy fictional horror stories. I like analog horror, and I want to shout out knowingly or unknowingly right now for his Godzilla suit analog horror series that he's doing right now. You keep doing you, brother. That scared the hell out of me. That was great. And I'm going to show JB that after we're done filming because it is really good. But I love analog horror. I love creepypastas. I like original horror stories, especially ones that incorporate not just myths and legends of the old stuff, but the new stuff, the new technology that we can use to terrify ourselves with now. So, yeah, I guess that's another guilty pleasure I would have.
Okay, I love the creepypastas as well, and I'm probably more milquetoast than you, and go with like the more mainstream stuff, but like Mr. Creepypasta, and there's a whole series there of Tales from the Gas Station, and it's silly and it's funny, and it's not really scary, but it's a horror theme.
Yeah,
and when I find something I like, I normally ingest it a couple times, and I've listened to that whole thing probably 3 times. I ended up buying the books. So, yeah. I've been getting into this, and I don't get into it. I fall into, like, crime stuff sometimes, too. And that can take you down a crazy rabbit hole.
All that stuff can.
Sometimes I see and then start enjoying these the scammer videos. So it's like a scammer scamming a scammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like those. Sometimes when you get to watch them like hack into a hacker's computer, basically, screw with them. It's just satisfying to see those people get what they deserve.
It is, because those people are out for money. They're out for assets that aren't theirs. So it's good to see them get their comeuppance.
They're out to take advantage of somebody who's like unsuspecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's nice to see. But like some horror stuff, you were talking about creepypastas, like real world horror. What do you think about like the rise of the artificial intelligence that we're seeing now?
I'm terrified.
Yeah, this turn this for like a loop here, right? Artificial intelligence.
I never thought that it would take off so vehemently, so fast, and it's so aggressively.
That's the scary thing. But like, I know you, right? And we're both big fans of Terminator 2. The Terminator series.
Oh yeah.
So essentially, like this story's already been written for us. We know it's coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you say it comes so fast, but that would be the nature of artificial intelligence. Like it would be something that like once it starts like being able to learn, right? It's going to learn at like a compiling rate, like an exponential rate.
Yeah. And James Cameron said it himself. Is like, did you not pay attention to my movie?
Right.
Did you not listen to the story?
Well, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is like one of the the people pushing, in a way, artificial intelligence, and he's already said like that it's a dangerous thing.
It is.
You have to imagine it is. So I heard the other day like the theory that what if like there's, because everybody would say like that everything we as like civilians have technologically is like 10 years behind what the military or the government has. Okay?
Yeah, that's.
So what we're seeing is artificial intelligence rolling out now, like what is that going to be in 10 years? Because that, you can imagine, is already a military technology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's scary. And people, the theory or the concept that was thrown out here is that, like, what if there is already an artificial intelligence that's essentially in control of everything?
It's terrifying to think of. It's absolutely terrifying to think of.
Yeah,
'cause
you might already
fingers
be
on the button,
there.
man.
Yeah.
We might already be there, and you know, you say what you want about AI, because I mean, we use AI generated art in our thumbnails for YouTube and stuff. I like what can be done with words and a computer to generate art, but then you have these. I see these advertisements all the time. You know, would you like a girlfriend? Would you like a girlfriend that talks to you? Would you like a girlfriend that talks dirty to you?
Do you want her just to be nice, or do you want her to be naughty?
Do you want her to be, you know, a MILF? Do you want her to be a teenager? It's like, okay. And then if you want her to talk dirty to you, pony up.
Is that the deal?
Pony the fuck up.
Of course. Of course, males cannot have companionship without paying for it.
Oh, it's horrible. I've seen the videos, man, and the conversations are general. The conversations are pretty generic that you could get with a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, you have to pay to get steamy. It's not worth it, guys. It's not.
Of course.
It's really not.
But there's a whole lot of things that men are willing to pay for.
Oh, sure.
Dude, did you hear? I didn't really get into it, but apparently there's like a controversy that Twitch, right, the streaming website, started allowing like nudity to be streamed.
Oh, that's a new one. I've not heard that one.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, I guess, but that's apparently like. So Twitch is the problem is it's a website or streaming service, whatever, that's used by kids mainly.
Yeah, it's a gamer thing.
So
I see advertised on Twitch. Watch me play games on Twitch.
I had seen it was like you just had to click that you were above 18 or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that old deal. And like, of course, people are going to. Honestly, like a topless female streaming a video game is just a ticket to success. But
Oh, tits for clicks, bro. Tits for clicks.
that's almost cheating. Well,
Yeah, we can't just whip out our dicks and be like, "Hey,
well,
we're gonna play some Donkey Kong."
I think that would turn people off, though. It would give you the opposite.
That's
reaction.
the some of the disadvantage, the unfairness in that industry. But speaking of video games, you wanted to talk about some video games.
Yeah, man. I'm a bit of an older gentleman. I don't know about yourself, but
Well, I don't want to say I'm that old, but I am wearing a shirt mainly comprised of characters from the 90s.
not that old. But
No.
So yeah, I wanted to get into like video games, your history with video games. Recently, we're both the proud owners of new PlayStation 5, so we're gonna try to do some more video game type content and hopefully just be bros and play video games.
Oh yeah, we have a play date set this afternoon to play some video games.
Right on. So if there's any listeners out there too, or like into gaming, do the online gaming, and you like got some gamer tags, or I don't know, we're old and we're noobs at the same time, but you know.
Yeah, throw them out there, man. Yeah, we'd love to talk to you online. We have no idea what we're doing yet, so we're figuring it out as we go.
All right, so what was your first video game console, say, that you owned?
The Atari 7800.
It's old.
Not quite as old as the 2600, which everybody remembers, with the square base and the joystick and the one button. This one was elongated, had a joystick on top and two buttons. And I only remember a few games. One of the games I remember the most fondly was called Desert Falcon. It's where you play a falcon in the desert, and you're basically just kind of flying through, shooting at enemies that look like kites, basically. And then you would pick up different hieroglyphics, and as you picked up these hieroglyphics, you would get different combinations of powers. And you would fight sphinxes and stuff. It was very rudimentary, and I'm sure you can find an emulator on it today. But that was my very first console that I actually owned and remembered. What was yours?
NES. Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a couple years younger than you, and it makes sense. So yeah, we actually owned one. It was in the house. I don't know about your kids, but kids seem to go crazy for video games. And man, I was definitely even, you think of that as being old technology, super outdated, but at the time it was the coolest thing ever. And yeah, we were crazy about Nintendo.
Did you get it the premiere year, the year it came out?
See, I don't know, because at that time I'm very young. I just know I have one. Yeah, and I tried playing. I was probably I was sharing and playing with a couple older brothers, let's say, and I'm the youngest, so I was probably the annoying one the whole time too. And honestly, those games they're hard now, so they were hard then.
Gamers don't know the kind of advantages they have with things like respawn and save states and shit back in the day. Whew.
Well, some of these games, like, you'll die, your character will die, and you'll respawn like 2 minutes back.
Yeah.
You lose nothing.
Yeah.
And in some of these Mario games and stuff, Mega Man, if you died enough, like, the game was over.
Oh, dude, Mega Man was always a challenge for me.
The Game Boy.
The Game Boy. I remember the year we got our Nintendo. It was Christmas. I think it was '86. We didn't get it the year it came out. But Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. We played. The entire family played Super Mario Brothers all day through. We stayed in our jammas and played Super Mario Bros. All day. We loved the Super Mario Brothers. And then all the other games that would come out, like Zelda, Double Dragon. So many, I can't even remember off the top of my head. So many great games.
Hey, you mentioned Duck Hunt. We had tons of fun with that. So that was a game that a kid could play too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And it's something I learned, and I'm not sure if we knew it then. We may have. Like, it was a long time ago, really, that anybody, that I played Duck Hunt. But that the player one was using the gun. And I think you could have two players doing that too. But if you plugged a controller in for player two, he could move the ducks.
Yeah. I learned that way later in life, but that is a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah.
And did you know the light bulb trick?
Oh, you could. It would just like simulate the flash.
Yeah, basically, because that's what would read as you were shooting the screen.
Yeah.
The sensor. Yeah, Nintendo was huge.
Impressive technology, to be honest, too. Crazy stuff. But
a lot of interesting peripherals that came out for the Nintendo too, like the Power Pad and the Power Glove and all that stuff.
Yeah, never. I mean, we're popular. I've heard about them, but I don't know that they took off so much. I don't know what most of those things actually did. The Power Glove, wasn't it just a controller?
Essentially, it was like the very first motion sensor controller. It kinda worked, sort of, but yeah, it also had like a regular Nintendo controller on there that you could control, and that's what you normally would use anyway. But yeah, I played with it once at a friend's house, and it didn't fit right, and it just was like, just give me the controller. This is dumb. But the Power Pad, my cousin had a Power Pad, and we did that track and field game a lot. Oh, we wore that Power Pad out.
The floor thing, then?
Yeah, where you laid it on the floor, and you had to run, or, well, kind of don't run too hard or you're going to break it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was always a blast.
So during that time, though, too, is kind of where the Sega versus Nintendo battle started.
And that's where the tear in my heart began.
Yeah, so what side I was young. I don't know that I really picked a side, but I wound up on a side. So what side were you on?
Oh, Team Sonic all the way.
Team
Sega
Sonic.
Genesis. Genesis.
I stuck with Nintendo.
Yeah.
So my second console was a Super Nintendo.
Mine was the Genesis. Yep.
This is where we form gangs. And
yeah, I think a rift is starting to form here. Once again, that was a Christmas gift. We were at my grandparents' house, and my grandparents knew our obsession of video games once they saw that was being opened, and we looked at them like, it's your house, your TV, So it took a lot of convincing and a lot of begging, but my grandfather finally pulled out the TV, which was on the floor because it was like that big. So he pulled it back, and it was nothing but cobwebs and dust, and we had to figure out how to hook it up with this ancient technology. And we finally found a coax adapter, and we got it hooked in, and it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in my life. 16-bit Sonic going so freaking fast, you could not believe it. And the cousins came over, and yeah, once again, we played Sonic all day, and it was a blast.
Yeah. I had lots of Super Nintendo parties. I mean, you had like Mario Kart for Super
Mhm.
Nintendo
Oh,
was
yeah.
an amazing game. I think that was the original Mario Kart, and that's basically a franchise now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always thought that Super Nintendo had better like multiplayer games than Genesis did.
Yeah, that was still a two. Was it a 2-player or a 4-player port? Because I feel like I played.
Well, it's a 4-player because you have
yeah.
Mario Kart. Yeah.
So there was a big step too. Like you went from 2 players to 4 players
Mm-hmm.
for the first time. This is way before you could hook things up to the internet and actually play with huge groups of people.
And it's funny. We'll play some Mario Kart original Super Nintendo Mario Kart later, and I want to see if you are able to play it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm talking graphical regression
Yeah.
from what we're used to now. Oh
Probably.
Lord! Oh Lord!
I don't really like any of the new the battle modes on the new Mario Karts. Like
No,
the
no.
racing's fine, but I don't really play the battle mode. And I remember like Super Nintendo battle mode was huge.
Always fun.
Yeah.
If we're talking Mario Kart, for me it was 64. That was the best battle modes. Because you had the Ring of Fire, you had the block fort, and
I don't think I played too much of the 64 one, but that was my third console then. I just followed right along with their Nintendo NES, Super Nintendo,
wow,
Nintendo 64.
Wow, so you were a diehard Nintendo head.
Basically, I don't think the Sega like really had that much appeal to me, and I'm like always kind of resistant of new technology. So then things like started going on CDs.
Yeah. Well, for me, the
like
Genesis.
that.
Looking back on it now, as somebody who had one as a kid versus somebody who didn't have a Super Nintendo, I think that the Genesis did have a few advantages, but a lot of disadvantages.
Yeah.
One thing that was way superior was the music. I can't stand the music of the Sega Genesis today, and I have a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo, and I enjoy the music and I enjoy the look of a Super Nintendo more. And I call me a traitor or whatever, but yeah, nowadays it just looks better. It's better sounding, and I still play the Genesis games, but I usually turn it down because I can't stand the music. But yeah, we're getting into the disc consoles now.
Well, like Sega CD.
See,
that's where it was like that kind of got complicated. You needed this extra thing to go with your Sega, and Nintendo was just a lot simpler.
Did you ever have a Sega CD?
No, I had experienced it. I'd seen one, but I never owned one.
We were allowed at our video store to rent it if you want. You had to lay down $100 deposit.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, and then you were allowed to take this what essentially looked like a nuclear football briefcase home, and you open up this protective case, and encased in the styrofoam is your Sega CD, and you were allowed to have it for the amount of time, which was 2 days. And we rented Sewer Shark and Sonic CD, and they say that Sonic CD is one of the best games for the Sega CD, and it's I mean, if you have Sonic Origins Plus out now, then you know why. It's just an amazing game. And then you have games like Sewer Shark, which was trying to more go with the video capabilities of it. They were trying to do like the full motion video thing for the Sega CD. That it just did not work. It was all pixelated. Yeah, and the game sucked. So yeah, Sega CD was a lot of hype, and it wasn't there yet. The technology just wasn't there yet.
That's how things move forward. Anyways, though, it's like an experiment. So. And 64, I thought was a fantastic machine, to be honest.
It was.
It was another like revolutionary. I mean, they've always made steps forward with like each new release, but the controller itself, like a lot of people didn't like the controller. They thought it was big and bulky, and I don't know. But like today's standards, like it's what set the standard in a way. Like I think it was the first joystick PlayStation. The PlayStation came out sometime around that same time.
I want to say that the PlayStation came out after the 64.
Yeah, because that was where that battle was. I think is like the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64.
I can't remember if I had a PlayStation before I had an Xbox or not.
Well, PlayStations came out before Xboxes.
Okay, so I had a PlayStation before I had an Xbox then.
Yeah.
Because that came out in 1995 was the PlayStation. So if we go back to the N64 release date, which I can't believe we should have looked.
I'm guessing it's just. I mean, we didn't even know where we were going here, but I'm guessing it's just a couple years.
June 23rd.
Before.
Oh no, September 29th, 1996.
So it was after the PlayStation.
Was after the PlayStation.
Okay, so maybe then I'm eating my words, because then it wasn't a revolutionary controller. The PlayStation already came out with. I mean, what's it?
No. They didn't have joysticks on their controllers till the PlayStation 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, N64 I think was one of the first ones to introduce the joystick as a one that came with the console.
Okay. So that makes sense. PlayStation still kept its like basic design for the controller. It just added the joysticks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that was where the battle was. Those at that time. So Sega kind of lost out by then.
Yeah, Sega kind of died out once the PlayStation and the 64 and the PlayStation were going at it. I didn't have a 64. I had a PlayStation. Once again, I was always about experimental technology, I guess. And Crash Bandicoot was my first experience with the PlayStation 1. Once again, a Christmas gift. My parents were all about consoles at Christmas because they knew that was the one big family gift that would never fail. So, yeah, Crash Bandicoot, Cool Borders, Twisted Metal, all the great classics. I played on my console, and then I would go to my friend Ryan's house, and we would play GoldenEye, Mario Kart, and mainly the two we played was GoldenEye and Mario Kart.
Well, those were I definitely GoldenEye. Like that was for me the big 64 party game was GoldenEye.
Yeah. Did you have all the cheats?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We had all the cheats. We had DK mode, paintball mode. We had the what was it? I can't even remember now. But yeah,
the first games though where like it induced rage and gamer rage.
Oh, I sucked so bad at that game when it first came out. Like really hard. I was the guy that they invited because they knew I was just a walking target.
Oh.
I was horrible at it. And now I play with my kids, and I'm like, you
take back your power.
Yeah, dominating over my children.
That's why we have them.
Yeah, and then they get pissed off, and they don't want to play with Dad anymore. Where you going? Dad, I told you, I don't even have a gun yet, and you're shooting me. Yeah, I know.
So yeah, that was a good time of life, honestly, when those things were coming out. It was like because everything did make huge leaps forward.
Yeah.
And it was so your expectations were always big, and like the next one so it's PlayStation, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2 comes out. Nintendo challenges that with the GameCube, I think.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
And that's when the Xbox drops too.
Yeah.
So,
oh, that's right. Because it was a battle between PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
Like is the new contender. Well, Sony kind of had jumped in with the PlayStation as a new contender.
Yeah.
And by that time they're like established, and Microsoft comes in with Xbox, and that's when I made the upgrade and jumped on the Xbox wagon. So off of Nintendo, and on the Xbox.
The original Duke Xbox, right? We're
Duke?
talking, the original with the X.
Yeah.
As the X, yeah.
Yeah, Xbox.
Yeah, that thing was great. One of the best things about that gaming console that I remember is that you could load up your own music into the hard drive and play that music onto the games. We would play Tony Hawk, ripping up some freaking Slayer, Metallica, and it was awesome. Then we switch up to like freaking Eminem and Bone Thugs.
Didn't Tony Hawk have a pretty good soundtrack on his own, though?
That as well, yes. Did have a great soundtrack. We like to mix it up.
Yeah.
We like to mix it up. But the Xbox, I remember, I'm trying to remember games I really liked for the Xbox.
Halo, dude. It was all Halo.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the staple. That's the standard. I'm trying to think of anything else that I owned that I really, really liked, and I can't really think of anything.
To go back to the original Xbox, I'm not sure either, but I mean, there were good games. I played a lot of good games on that.
Yeah. I think like Tetris Worlds was a great game if you like Tetris,
Yeah. But that was a big leap forward, like regardless, like this generation of gaming systems is a big leap forward in technology.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, just the scale of some of these games.
Yeah. I think this is like when, because we had, the online gaming component already, or maybe not so much already. There was things you could do, but this is like when it really started to take off.
Yeah.
Definitely with Halo. I think Halo 2 was the biggest one, but I don't want to neglect like in between. So in between the PlayStation 64 era and the Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube era, there was the Sony Dreamcast.
Oh, that means Sega Dreamcast?
Yeah. There you go. Yes, Sega. So it was Sega coming. It was like their comeback attempt.
Oh man, they tried.
They tried. Honestly, the thing is they succeeded. They made a really amazing machine for its time. It was far ahead of like the 64 and other things.
Yeah.
So, but it just didn't take off.
It didn't. My friend, he opted for a Dreamcast one year, and he would always be over at my house playing the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. PlayStation brought a lot of people together in my house.
I'm sure. The Dreamcast there though, it didn't really have the game quantities and the titles that you'd want, but the picture and the how the machine actually worked and functioned was pretty good for its day.
Do you know much about the Dreamcast as far as games go? Did they have a Sonic, like a regular Sonic game for the Dreamcast?
They probably did, but I'm not sure. Like a big one, I think it was like Crazy Taxi.
Oh God, I can't wait for that to come back.
They came out with like a Rumble boxing game.
Okay.
It was just like the picture was, if you ask me, was well beyond where it should have been for its time.
You're right about that.
And I don't know if it was expensive for its time. I don't know, but people just didn't take to it so much.
Yeah, my buddy had it was like a Sonic racing game that I remember. And it wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
But you're right. The Dreamcast did look good for its time. And I'm trying to think. You mentioned Crazy Taxi. There was another game for the Dreamcast that I used to play, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, let me tell you one that I remember that I played. It was and it was called Seaman.
You played Seaman?
Yeah, Seaman.
Are you serious?
Hell yeah, dude.
With Leonard fucking Nimoy?
Yeah.
Oh,
now
my
you're
man.
making me remember. Yep.
Dude, you have a badge that I'll never have.
Oh, dude, it was fun. It was so stupid, but...
Did you have the microphone and everything where you could talk to the seaman?
Yeah, so my uncle has every video game. He's always been in the video games, and he's the one who had the Dreamcast. We go over there and talk to his fish.
Oh my God!
I forget now what I even said the name of the game was, but you raise this alien fish in a tank. You had to feed him. I don't even remember how it works. It was
oh my,
not necessarily a good game, but he'd grow up and start talking to you, and you could talk to him on the mic, and he'd repeat things that you said. It's ridiculous.
Seaman, don't play that.
And yeah, it was Leonard Nimoy voiced the fish.
I cannot believe you actually had access to Seaman. That is a myth in my world, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
So, anyways, we jump into the future. Xbox, PlayStation. So I'm guessing you're still on the PlayStation side. Xbox 2 comes out. I forget what that was actually called because it wasn't 2.
I don't know. I only had the first Xbox. After that, I was back on Team PlayStation.
Okay, I stuck with Xbox 360 is probably what
okay.
That one.
Okay.
But that's when things actually really got good, and they started the Oblivion, and that was just Oblivion was on there. That was a fantastic game.
That was an exclusive, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure, but I think later on, Skyrim wasn't, or it changed anyways. But yeah, so man, I put hundreds of hours into that game. But
that's stiff competition too.
Yeah,
because they had Final Fantasy VII come out for PlayStation. That was a huge event.
Mm-hmm.
And oh God, no, I can't remember.
You probably had Gods of War coming out and stuff by then too. And
I don't know. See, you play a different genre of gaming than I do. Mostly. We do enjoy some of the same stuff, but yeah, you like the first person shooters, the Halo stuff like that. I enjoy playing that with a group of guys, like the one time you invited me at your uncle's house.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
We used to have LAN parties. We'd hook up,
Like,
more than 2 Xboxes.
Oh, there's like
I think.
4 of them.
Yeah, and like have several TVs hooked up in the same house.
Oh, yeah.
We had tons
Like
of fun doing
back-to-back couches. Oh, it was great. It was so much fun. But yeah, I'm more of a old school, platformer, even 3D kind of stuff. The thing about when we have after Xbox 360, was that the PlayStation 3?
Yeah. Well,
that's where.
No, the PlayStation 3 and the 360 should probably be what are up against each other. Like now, and then that's when like the Wii's out too.
Oh my God. The Wii.
The Wii was so like, you can't talk about the Wii without talking about that South Park episode where Cartman phrases himself because he can't wait anymore.
He can't wait for that Wii.
So like in its way, the Wii was like overhyped, dude, because
it was.
It didn't end up. It did the things they said it was gonna do, but it just didn't end up being as cool as you hoped it would have been.
I remember it being like the more, I called it the more kid-friendly console because of the way that the games were.
That's what Nintendo ended up
presented.
doing.
Yeah.
No, Nintendo it's now like it's the kid-friendly one. So like yeah, if you're like me and you like the first-person shooters and stuff like that, like Nintendo's really not where you should land because they don't do that kind of stuff so much, and it exists on their platform, but not that much.
Yeah.
So like the Switch is like a kid's machine, if you ask me. That's
Yeah.
where Nintendo went.
Yeah, and I got a Switch at home, and I enjoy playing the Switch games. We just got Mario Wonder, and that game is a trip. If you ever wondered what Mario would be like on shrooms, this is probably as close as you could get without actually taking any.
Mario's always
silly
been
ones.
on shrooms since like the 80s. Or
No, I'm talking if you were on psilocybin or psilocybin or magic mushrooms, as they call it. If you were on magic mushrooms and playing Mario, this is what it would be like, because it is a trip.
So yeah, I stuck with Xbox even into then the old new gens, right? So Xbox One.
Once again, you're dipping, or I'm dipping my toes into places I don't know.
So I think the new Xbox is the Xbox X series or something like that. So I think the old one was Xbox One, and that was up against the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is why Xbox always falters, because they never name their consoles correctly.
I agree.
It's very confusing.
Yep. But Xbox and PlayStation then ended up being like the battle, because now it seems like Nintendo releases in between them. Like they're not really battling it out, which makes sense. So like again, Nintendo's like got its own niche.
Oh, dude, they're such a powerhouse. They don't have even a competition anymore. Nintendo knows when they drop a console, a Mario game, some kind of big thing that they're doing, it's gonna be successful.
Yeah. Okay.
I honestly don't think that they're really in quote unquote competition with each other anymore. I mean, at the core they are, but I mean, they know that they're going to be successful no matter what.
I can see that. Like I'm saying, they're selling they have like different client base.
Yeah.
So, but again, did you stick with the PlayStation all the way through?
All the way through.
Because
I did.
I stuck with Xbox.
I stuck with PlayStation all the way through to the 5 because I didn't trust the Xbox. I've heard too many things about it.
So that was my consideration too, and like in getting the new system is I've had issues, like functionality issues with Xboxes. Basically, every time I've had an Xbox, like it's not ran properly.
Yeah.
But like I've been fortunate enough too to have PlayStations. Like I had a PlayStation 3. And,
yeah.
And like I never had a problem with that.
Yeah, I had like 4 PlayStation 3s.
Yeah.
We wore them out. We loved the PlayStation 3. We started with the big, shiny, we said PlayStation 3 across it. It came with what did it come? Oh, it came with Spider-Man on Blu-ray. Yeah, Spider-Man 3 on Blu-ray. That's how old it was. And then the Slim design came out, and we got one of those. And then we got the PS4 Pro Slim design, and then we had to get another one of those just because we had so many games, and they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And for some reason, we never heard of an external hard drive. So we just kept buying PlayStations. And, I pretty much stuck with PlayStation all the way through to where we are now.
Yeah. So I decided to make the switch to the PlayStation 5 instead of doing the new Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
which I think I'm pretty happy about. I mean, like the functionality of the thing is. Again, I like resist technology, so I was probably behind the times anyways. The old one probably could have done the same thing, but I got like an app on my phone, and like I can download games from this app on my phone while I'm at wherever, and it will start downloading it at my PlayStation at home. It's like
It's great.
it's crazy. It's
Love getting
mind-blowing.
the text messages that my games are ready to play.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
great.
That's my complaint about like any of the newer systems is like so much of it takes so long to download. I know when I first got my Xbox One, like I come home with a game, I have time to play it. I'm expecting to be able to play, and I like sit down and plug it in and hook it up, and it's like, well, in 8 hours, 12 hours, the game will be ready to play. Good for you.
That's the disadvantage of the new generation consoles. We got that PlayStation 5 home. I had 3 games that I had to install. Not to mention the gigantic Spider-Man 2 that came with the console that was digital download only. And my kid has been obsessing over this game ever since he beat Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. So we had to get that one done first. That was an overnight one. And then the WWE 2K23, another overnight one. And it's just like, it's so big.
Yeah.
So long. It's like, I want to pop in the cartridge, hit power, pick up my controller, hit start.
Anymore though, I plan for it. I expect it. Like,
Yeah.
So it doesn't fill me full of the rage that the first one did.
Yeah,
I
that's
was not happy.
Yeah, that was the problem with this newest one. The kids, they weren't expecting it.
I missed the days of like having your cartridge, plugging it in, turning on power, and it's going.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, these new systems have eliminated the load screen
Oh,
by a lot.
dude, yeah. We would wait. I think when we did our 2K22 video, Fat Jericho versus Knuckles, it was like, I don't know, a 40-second load screen.
Mm-hmm.
The new one, 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's
It is
pretty
amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Love
and the
it.
picture's definitely great. It's pretty beautiful.
Mhm.
Because I got the Spider-Man game too, and just visually, like that game's pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can do.
Yeah, do you like the responsive triggers?
What? Well, yeah. I mean, the triggers are cool. You mean how like they vibrate in your hand and stuff sometimes?
How
like,
they kind of push back, like they resist you a little bit. Yeah, the adaptive triggers, that was really cool to play with.
I've seen some you can get like set up to be like mouse clicks, so they're just like click, 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 click.
Ooh.
I was thinking that'd be kind of cool. I'm not that serious of a gamer, but
No.
pretty cool.
No, we're dads first, so gaming comes when it comes. But yeah, we're heavy into it when we get to it.
It's just a cool media, like that's what we're into. We're into like creative, fun media things. So like video games is definitely up there, and like we've went through like we've been experiencing video games for pretty much our entire lives, and there's nostalgia and story and history. They're all in its own, with just in the video game consoles and the wars and the battles that they had.
And behind the scenes, you also had the people in the government and Congress trying to stop all of this because we were becoming zombified by the video game industry. I remember, man. There was so much restriction in my house because my parents were watching these news reports.
Yeah.
That kids were just like playing these games for hours and hours and hours and hours, just doing nothing else, which we never had that opportunity to do that.
Well, they blamed a lot of violence and things on violence in games.
When Mortal Kombat came out, oh my god.
Mortal Kombat's like one of the least of my worries, though, really, to be on like if games were to incite other human beings to be violent, because that's what they say, right? Like that's the argument. Like I don't think anybody's like doing Mortal Kombat stuff.
No, I don't know anybody who can rip a spine out just by grabbing somebody's neck or freezing them or spitting acid.
Hopefully, if we get some time away from the kids and like with the free TV, we'll play and do some recordings from Grand Theft Auto. Now that's a game that I think can like kind of warp your brain a little bit, though.
I've heard some pretty crazy stories of people getting a little too immersed in the universe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's one of those games. That is the epitome of a guilty pleasure game. That is where you can live out your darkest, wildest fantasies within the confines of the game. And, once you come out of it, some people don't come out of that. Some people stay in there. Some people don't bring themselves back with them a little bit.
It's like a lot of things. Like
Mm-hmm.
people who would be affected that way probably had problems to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to play it because I've played it before. It's fun. It's. I don't even really do missions, so to speak. I just like driving around. One of the things I really like doing was getting the cheat codes and summoning a plane, going as high as I could, and then just jumping out and seeing where I landed.
That was so funny.
It was always a blast.
But no, we're doing missions, dude. We're gonna make a gang. You're gonna be my gang.
Okay.
If we ever get around to it.
Can I be the fingers?
Fingers.
Can I be my
clamps? Get over here, clamps.
Clamps. Oh, I like that even better. I'll be the clamps.
I'm gonna clamp you. Futurama, bro. Come on.
I never watched Futurama.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Well,
you check that one out. Good show.
For Futurama?
Yeah.
I started watching it when it first came out, and then I just kind of lost interest in it. And it just never really caught my attention. I was all about, then it was South Park and Family Guy.
You're a big Family Guy fan, yeah.
I was.
Was?
I was a big Family Guy fan. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was hilarious at the time. But looking back, I just, I don't know.
I'm with you. Like I think the humor was kind of dry.
Yeah, I don't know. Nowadays, I try to watch episodes. It's like, yeah, okay, we get it.
Yeah, good enough. But
yeah.
You remember the time when...
Yeah, we remember the time.
You think that's bad?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I just agree with South Park. South Park still is culturally relevant and hilarious.
Dude, South Park, I don't know how they can be stopped. I honestly don't know.
They're kind of untouchable, yeah.
They are. They can say anything, do anything. They have a new special on Paramount Plus called Not Suitable for Children that you need to see.
I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
I heard about it.
Yeah, they advertise it as just like you're going to see a whole bunch of sex and stuff, and I'm not going to give anything away, but what it comes out, it's so goddamn funny. And they also poke a lot of fun at Logan Paul and the Prime drink, and I'm all for that.
Very nice.
Yeah. So we want to try to keep this episode under an hour this time, so I think we're going to wrap it up.
I think so.
All right. It sounds good. So Merry Christmas. Happy New Year 2024. Before we go, do you have any New Year's resolutions you want to get out there?
I'm gonna do some things. I'm gonna start dieting. I'm gonna go on a diet.
Folks, this guy looks like a dented tin can without his shirt off, and I mean that in the best way. He dieting? Really?
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm gonna change my diet. I'm gonna start eating like healthier.
Oh, okay. All right. That's better. Okay, yeah, because I agree with that. Because I'm getting older now, and I want to start doing the same things. I want to eat better. I want to quit smoking cigarettes. I really want to stop that. That's just a horrible thing. I'm noticing it now. It's starting to smell at my clothes. My teeth are getting yellow. I'm not happy with it anymore. I want to quit that. So.
Yeah, I understand that, and like diet is always a hard thing.
Yeah,
it's easy to fall back into like a loop of like a lot of just overly processed.
Oh yeah. Especially when it's so conveniently everywhere around you.
That's what it is. It's like it's always there, like pre-wrapped and prepared. Like
and it's normally cheaper than the better stuff that you get.
Well, absolutely, yes.
Okay, so there's a couple resolutions for you. Leave comments below. What are your resolutions? Let us know in the comments. We are Neon Rabbit. We will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.